Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 58 on February 11, 2024. From your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $11.99 versus a regular price of $19.99 for a total savings of $800. This limited time super discount basically is 52 weeks at $23 per week, less than the price of one 4% play, coming out to only $3.29 per day. With the cost of a 30-day all-access priced at $2.99, it is almost like getting 8 30-day all-access passes at no additional cost. As an added bonus, your all-access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl, the more additional days you get for free.
Welcome everybody to Wager Talk Today. I am Lawrence Pressman. He is Teddy Covers. And you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. That you can take to the bank. How are you, my friend?
Well, I've had better mornings. We lost the 5% last night. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes when it comes to what bettors learned. That being said, it wasn't a disaster night by any stretch of the imagination. We lost the big one. But on today's show, let's set it up. Andrew McInnis going to join us right at the top. He's going to talk UFC main event on Saturday night. Derek Lewis, Sergey Spivak. He's going to talk about a round prop in that one. He's also going to break down the NHL All-Star game for us. Adam Trigger's coming up next. He'll bring up pair in college hoops tonight. BYU and Loyola Marymount, Sacramento State, and Eastern Washington. My big game breakdown in the NBA this evening. We'll talk about the Pacers and the Lakers. And Carmine Bianco to close out the show. He's going to talk Premier League soccer, Tottenham versus Man City, and one in Italy, Inter Milan versus AC Milan for this weekend. If we get 100 likes, Prez, do we get a presidential address at the end of the show? I don't know if there's no NHL. You tell me. Nonetheless, loaded Thursday edition right here on Wager Talk Today.
We might have a daily presidential address. We'll play it by ear, Teddy. I had a winning night last night. Irony at its finest, bro. Lose my NBA play on Tuesday, $2 Tuesday handicapper. Come back and swept in NBA on Wednesday. And it's like, I'll trade it all. I'll trade it all for that Tuesday win. Went 4-2 in hoops, 2-0 in NBA. My run continues. Daniel Garibaldi wants NHL winners today. Well, I definitely won't give any losers out. That's for sure. I can guarantee you that. Winner is going to be hard, given that there's no NHL games today. Andrew McInnis joining us. Andrew, All-Star Weekend, man. You're gonna have a little rest, a teeny rest.
Yeah, of course. I watch it. I enjoy it a little bit, but it definitely isn't the same as when I was younger. The All-Star games, I feel like for almost every single sport, just don't have that same magic to them as they used to. But it's still fun to watch. Look forward to it. And guys, today on the show, I will not be giving out fastest skater or most accurate shot. It'll be actually on the game. So we're not going to get too carried away with the All-Star game, but I do have some kind of picks, predictions, and some thought process as far as how to bet the NHL All-Star game.
Well, you want to start there, Andrew? Because I know you're doing that and the fight, Derek Lewis. Sure. Where you want to go?
I mean, doesn't matter to me. We just talked about the All-Star, so I can just kind of go right into that, I guess.
Yeah, let's get right into the All-Star game.
So, I mean, look, it used to be Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. Now it's broken up into divisions, right? The Central, we've got the Pacific, Metropolitan, Atlantic, and here's something very simple I'll tell people out there. I think you can relate this to some other sports as well. In these all-star games, the way this format is set up, I think that it's really important people look at the overs early in the games and the tournament, and then look at unders near the championship game. Because that's really, when you start to see the players actually try, it's just like every other sport. It's a lot of goofing around, messing around. But when it comes down to it, these guys want to win. Nobody's out there trying to lose. So in the championship game, I highly recommend people take a look at betting the under, or even wait until there's like 4 or 5 minutes to go in that final game and bet that in-game under, because guess what? The guys actually start to play defense. For me, overall, in this game, in this all-star tournament, I'm picking the Central Division to win the All-Star game, guys. A couple different reasons. Number one, they only have one player making his first ever All-Star appearance. And unlike many people, I actually think it's a good thing to have guys on your team that have been there, done that before. They're not really messing around and goofing off too much. They're just there for the W, there for the experience. But I feel like the guys making their first experience, they're kind of, trying to make the fancy move, trying to make that highlight reel, Instagram, Twitter pass to get all over the highlight reels. To me, you've got an NHL All-Star game here with Central that has 3 defensemen, which is very rare. You've got teammates with Makar, Rantanen, and McKinnon, Jason Robertson, an absolute stacked team. And they were the runners-up last year, guys. I feel like the Central Division is a good quality bet here for this weekend. I'm not messing around here, guys. All-Star game, I think it's a great bet here with Central Division in the NHL.
Just real quick, and so this isn't an action. Is this like a 3% wager type of deal, or is this an action wager? Have a little fun at the All-Star game, or is this like let's put a real bet on this?
This is do content and tweet it out type of wager.
Gotcha.
This isn't going on my.
Yeah, it's an action wager, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And with All-Star games, I've known a couple guys that handicap them really well, but they're always action wagers. It's not let's load up on the All-Star game. Doesn't happen a whole lot. Let's shift our focus to Fight Night right here in Las Vegas on Saturday. The main event: Derek Lewis, Sergey Spivak. I'm seeing Spivak. What's he like? -235, -240. The round prop is interesting. 1.5 juice to the under. It's going to be a short fight.
Well, Teddy, I'll tell you what. If Bruce Buffer ever has a sore throat, you can definitely fill in for him. We'll get you on call to be the intro guy for the UFC. But look, sometimes in the UFC, I've come on here. I've tried to give out some sides on WagerTalk Today. Also, give out a lot of totals in the UFC, and the main reason I do that is that, you just pointed it out. The odds aren't really that great, right? Especially if you are interested in the favorite. But when you look towards totals, you can really make some money betting it that way. Derek Lewis, his fights have gone under 1.5 rounds in 3 straight, 5 of the last 6. As far as Spivak is concerned, 2 of his last 3 fights. And I think with Spivak, the thing is with him, he's going to create himself put himself in rough situations by trying to get shots in on Derek Lewis. When he's trying to get in tight, he's going to put himself in very vulnerable spots. But Derek Lewis, it seems like he's been figured out. He's been finished in his last few fights. He's a guy that, just can't really last long. He's lost a lot of weight. He's shed some pounds, looks to be in the best shape of his career so far, I guess. But I do not think that will be enough. Sometimes in the heavyweight division, you don't think twice. You take the under. You expect a knockout early in the fight. And that's what I predict here.
Awesome stuff. Andrew McInnis, a boxing pick, a All-Star, NHL All-Star pick, UFC pick. Sorry, Daniel, son. Andrew, what do you got to promote?
Yeah, obviously, a lot of people know NHL is my main sport, but I do handicap all kinds of other sports, including college basketball. Small volume with the NBA, but I'm on a 12-5 best bet run in the UFC. That's 70%. Last year, 2022, I was the number 2 handicapper in the UFC as far as best bets are concerned here on WagerTalk. And I'm hearing lots of guys that don't like this card. I love this card. I'm loading up. I'm ready to go here with some high volume. So this Saturday, it's an event, like Teddy said, in Las Vegas. Looking forward to it. You can grab all my plays in one package over at WagerTalk.
Wonderful stuff. Andrew McInnis, everybody. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Teddy covers a couple of things. Tommy Shaw writes, great show 2 days ago with Jay Money, Prez. So I did a show with Jay Money a couple of days ago. I talked NBA. I hope some of you guys listen to it because you never really get to hear much of my thoughts or analysis on these shows. I tend to provide the entertainment while Teddy provides the information. That's why we're infotainment. It's a good team, Teddy. So check that out. I know it's old, but you'll get at least a feeling of the fact that I can do Teddy's job. But can you do mine, Teddy?
No, I can't do you. Well, yes, I can host the show. I'm not as quick with the quips as you are. That being said, You can't do my job, Lawrence. I appreciate it. And you get to give your analysis every day with the presidential address. It's not like people don't hear
I don't
your
give
opinions.
analysis in it.
That being said, let's talk about what we learned last night. And I learned something bad last night. I had a 5% big ticket on Oklahoma City, and it was wrong from the first quarter. They made a run in the third. I thought I had life. They couldn't sustain it. And the Rockets wanted it more. They played like it. OKC couldn't hit a three, and they couldn't control the offensive glass. That was the biggest issue. I mean, both of those were huge issues in the game, but they were ice cold from downtown, and they gave up 24 offensive rebounds in that ballgame. So this is the difference between Prez and I. Prez goes ballistic when he loses a big ticket. Can't talk to him. I take 10 minutes. I swear a little. I have a smoke, and I move on. You know, the Rockets have played well, both ends of the floor the last two games. And this is a team that has now, for much of the season, the last 5 minutes of a close game, the Rockets were just as bad as it gets. They'd find a way to lose. They'd find a way not to cover. Now, it's 2 games in a row. We've seen them play well in the end games. It's something worth noting. We're going to adjust our power rating on Houston up a little bit. OKC's been a value team for the last year and a half. Maybe they don't have so much value right now. Downgrade OKC a little bit. Use your takeaways from the game, adjust your power ratings, and move on. I split out for the night. You know, I'm still at 65% across sports over the last 10 days. The college hoops is heating up. Frustrating. Hate losing a big play. Hate it. But you don't let it eat you alive. Take your loss, move on. We'll come back, see if we can get it done today in college and the NBA. That's what I learned last night. Lawrence?
Teddy, I'm getting better, man. I'm telling you, I'm getting better. And it's you're helping. Vivian's helping. Marco is helping. I'm not like freaking out. I mean, I almost broke a TV on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I am definitely getting better. It's hard, dude. It's hard. Anyway, one of my go ahead, Teddy.
I have to ask. Okay. You're like, I almost broke a TV on Sunday. And you're like, oh, but it's getting better. Explain that, because that seems a bit so the two don't get together. You can stop typing now and pay attention to the show, dude.
Teddy, I am listening. I am involved. So my answer to you is 6 months ago, I did break a TV. This time, I almost broke the TV. That is the definition of getting better.
Sure, that's progress. I'm with you.
Yeah. One of my college basketball clients asked when my plays are going up. They're going up. 4 college basketball plays, 1 NBA play. They are going up. Thank you for asking. I'm excited. Teddy, Adam Trigger joining us. I love Ad. Dude has been going from stadium to stadium. Adam, tell us about what is going on. You're doing like a trip.
Yeah, I mean, Prez, I want to see every Division I college basketball arena at some point. So I'm just going to start knocking them off until I get to all 360. That might be 10 years from now. I don't know how long it's going to take me to do that. But, we'll just keep working it through it one at a time. It's a great chance to get to see these teams up close and personal. It's definitely helped. I do think it helps watching basketball specifically in person. The other 2 sports I handicap, baseball and football. I mean, football, everywhere, you probably can derive more from watching on TV. Same thing maybe with baseball. It doesn't really matter. I feel like you can watch it from left field. You can watch it on television. Same game. Doesn't really matter. But basketball, specifically college, I think you can gain more from being there. So it's been fun. I'm going to be in Akron. Press, hold on. I'm going to be in Akron, Ohio tomorrow night with Jeff Michaels, Brian Power.
Wow.
So if you're randomly in the Akron area, come on down. The game's not till 9 p.m. We're going to be around before, so hit us up. It's a big game, Prez. Kent State, Akron, right at the top of the MAC. Can't wait. Looking forward.
Ad, are you tweeting out? Are you running? Are you doing a summary on the food, summary on the vibe? Are you putting together like a package for people on social media?
Yeah, you got to document this.
Yeah, dude.
Listen, guys, maybe over the summer when I have a couple minutes, I will do such a thing. But right now, there's 350 plus basketball teams in play every day. So I'm going to continue to handicap games, which is what the people really want me to be doing. And then, yeah, maybe over the summer when it slows down a little bit, I'll try to document the experience. I do tweet some stuff out on the fly. But yeah, I just been I have no plan. Someone says, "Hey, come here for a game," I go. That's just, it's pretty much how it's going. And like I said, we'll keep hitting them. If I don't get to you this year, I'll get to you next year. And yeah, it's been a good time so far. I've actually had a blast. Can't wait to go to the game tomorrow, and we'll ride it right through the end of the year.
Awesome stuff. Okay. Before I get into this, I do want to ask George Wood. He's in the chat room. He was the gentleman that asked when my college basketball plays were going up. Every day ad nauseum, I talk about how good my hoops has been, and I don't want to do that anymore. So, George, feel free to tell the people in the chat room what your experience has been betting my college basketball. Adam, speaking of college basketball, Loyola Marymount BYU. -4.5 of BYU. Where are you going in this game, my friend?
Yeah, so this one, Prez, is out in Provo, Utah. I was there earlier this year. Got to see BYU
Love that
play
place.
at the Marriott Center. Awesome venue, actually. One of the biggest on-campus arenas there is. I think it holds like 19,000. And they, BYU's a team. If you subscribe to my plays, I've played them quite a bit this year. I cashed a 4%er with them over the weekend in a heartbreaking 1-point loss to St. Mary's, where they did cover the number. And yeah, that's actually their second really brutal last second 1-point loss. Lost to St. Mary's and Gonzaga, Prez, essentially the same way, last shot of the game. So they really could be a lot better record-wise in WCC play than they are. They're a team. I got to see them early in the year, and I left Provo, and I said, man, this team's not that good this year. They have no point guard. They can't handle the ball. And they were a fade for me early in the season. They lost to teams like South Dakota, Utah Valley. Really didn't get off to a great start, but they moved a freshman to the point guard position, Dallin Hall, who can actually play the position. They took Rudy Williams, moved him to the bench, where he's thrived as like a 6-man type guy. And so I've really looked to play on BYU ever since. Like I said, they come off of a very difficult, sort of soul-crushing loss on Saturday to St. Mary's, but they've been playing better, and they've now lost 3 straight, and this is really a must-win game for these guys. They play a Loyola Marymount team that comes in winning 4 or 5. Loyola Marymount beat them earlier this year, so we've got a little bit of revenge for BYU. And listen, Loyola Marymount might have the best result of any team in the WCC this year, going to the Kennel and beating Gonzaga on their home floor, snapping that big win streak. But I still think Loyola Marymount is a little bit overvalued. I think they struggle a little bit on the defensive end. And that's really where the only thing that keeps me off of a client play here is the number. I love BYU to win this game. But guys, this is a scenario where the books got it right. They opened this 3. This shot up to 5 really quickly. But the current number, this is more of a lean for me and something that just missed my card. But I like the revenge angle. I like the way BYU has played lately. And I do think they bounce back and snap that losing streak at home.
So I got a couple of follow-ups here. Or let me make one long, because BYU has won 2 games in 2023 against the 2 worst teams in this conference. They're not just 3-game losing streak. They're 2-5 their last 7. They're not playing winning basketball right now. And here's this Loyola team. You said you think they're overvalued. And they've been a point spread monster of late. Their last 4. And when I'm looking for a team that's overvalued, the thing that stands out to me is lots of games close to the number. They're not getting to the number. They're not reaching the number. That tells me the markets have caught up. Last 4 games for Loyola, they're covering by margin every time, covering by an average of more than 10 points per game during that span. So what makes you think the markets have actually caught up with this squad? And what makes you think that BYU is any good, being that they've won 2 games this entire year since the calendar turned to 2023, both of which came against bottom feeders?
So, hey, I got to disagree with BYU not playing good basketball because, like I said, 2 of their losses are by 1 to St. Mary's and by 1 to Gonzaga. Go find me someone else in that conference. I guess Loyola, but go find me someone else that's played those 2 teams that close. And really, they should have won. Now, this is less of a knock on Loyola. I mean, listen, the Gonzaga result's incredible. And Loyola's a team that, they can score. There's a lot of redeeming qualities with this team. But the one thing I think they're going to really struggle with tonight is Rudy Williams and his ability to get to the rim. Loyola Marymount, not great defensively. Rudy Williams, listen, held to 2 points by St. Mary's. But as you guys know, St. Mary's is a team that plays a style like no other, a team that really can defend. They're going to make you play in the 50s. If you go back to his 2 previous games, 28 against Santa Clara, 24 against San Francisco. And I'm not trying to make excuses for BYU, but those are 2 good teams, and BYU played them on the road. I think being at home's a little bit different story. I love the spot for them. I agree with you in the respect that where the number is now, I don't know if you're getting the value there, and it's really what ultimately kept it off my card. But I do think BYU wins this game. Do what you will with that. They probably get there. I would have loved to have it at 3, but even at -4.5, -5, I still think BYU is the right side.
Wonderful stuff. Adam Trigger joining us. Before we get into the next game, Sac State versus Eastern Washington, what do you got to promote for the clients? How you been doing? What's going on?
Yeah, no, it's been going great. College hoop has really picked up. I'm on a 6-0 run on 5% plays. Probably have another one tomorrow. I don't have one today. But college hoop on the overall, I think I've hit 9 of my last 13. My coupon code TEAM3. This actually works for Brian Power and Jeff Michaels as well. Shout them out. It works for any of us. You can use it as many times as you want. It's 3-day all access for just $39. So it's basically for the cost of 5% play. You get the next 3 days. And I think that's going to be up until tomorrow. So you can use it for the weekend if you want. Team3, and it gets you 3-day all access for just $39.
Awesome. Sacramento State against Eastern Washington, S squared +1. Where are you going with this one?
Yeah, Press, so quickly, I got to shout out Keith Bayou Bets Landry. He's one of our followers on Twitter. He was one of our very first Hustle Show pod fans, which you can watch right here on WagerTalk TV every Wednesday at 6 p.m. He tweeted something this morning, and I couldn't say it better, so I just have to use his tweet. He said, "We have a green out, we have revenge, and we have an undefeated conference team on the road." And then he ended it with, "You don't walk into the nest and not get stung." He's talking about Sacramento State. They play at the Hornets' Nest, Prez. We go from one of the biggest venues in college hoop to one of the smallest. It only holds about 1,000 people. That's where this game is tonight. And he's right. And I agree with him. Sacramento State at home, 8-1 this season. The only team to leave without getting stung was Montana State, who I still think is the best team in the Big Sky, despite the standings. Eastern Washington, I'll tip my cap. They're 10-0 in conference play. I did not have this Eastern Washington team even in my top 3 in Big Sky this year. So they've certainly come out of nowhere, or at least to me they have. They're a great team. I mean, Steele Venters is a pro prospect. He's a stud. But they turn the ball over a lot. They're almost outside the top 300 in turnovers this year. And they're going into an arena where this team has won 8 of 9. And Sacramento State does have that revenge angle sort of on tap here in what should be one of their better crowds of the season. Sacramento State, guys, David Patrick, their head coach, he was the coach of UC Riverside a couple years ago. He's really kind of the architect of that UC Riverside program that's been good. The only reason he left, it was at the height of COVID, and I think he was concerned with what was going to happen to the basketball program. He ended up taking the job at Arkansas to be an assistant with Musselman, and now he's back as a head coach, this being his first year at Sacramento State. I thought he was a tremendous coach at Riverside. I love that he's back as a head coach in college basketball, and I just love the way he has the Sacramento State team playing. So I'm going to go with the angle that I've got the revenge angle. They're 8-1 at home. I do think Eastern Washington is going to lose one at some point. The Big Sky is very talented this year. They're just not going to run the table. And I don't think they leave the Hornets' nest without getting stung tonight, guys. Sacramento State +1. I love the Hornets in this spot, and it is a 4% client play.
You like Sacramento State plus? I want to ask you, because you talk about the revenge angle, but there's lots of revenges for Sacramento State against Eastern Washington. It's been a very one-sided series. I believe Sacramento State's won once since 2019. Is revenge the play here, or is it, look, this team ain't going through conference without getting a loss, and this is where you expect them to get it?
Yeah, it's more the latter, Teddy, but I got to point out that Sacramento State hasn't won much of anything since 2019. And this is a team that was at the bottom of this conference for years. So I'm not really worried with what Sacramento State's done prior to this year. Obviously, this being the first year that David Patrick has been in charge. He brought and really, Teddy, this you can't even look at past years when it comes to Sacramento State because he completely, brought in a new roster here essentially with the transfer portal. Actually, one of the more impressive sort of transfer portal roster creations, if you will, as we're seeing now throughout college basketball, that there was in the offseason. So Sacramento State, a completely different team than they were the past couple of years. They'll figure out how to win on the road at some point, but right now they're playing great basketball at home. Their only loss at home this year, last time out to a Montana State team. I still have power rated #1 in the Big Sky. I just don't see them losing back to back at home. And yeah, the wins are 12 straight wins for Eastern Washington. They're going to drop one at some point. It usually starts to happen when when the calendar flips to February. So I think it's going to be tonight. Sacramento State +1, 4%.
Adam Trigger, everyone. You were speaking, and in the middle of your talk, Vivian calls. Vivian, my woman, like she does not know my schedule. It must be news to her that I'm doing a live show between 12 and 1 o'clock on a Thursday. Anyway, I'll have to take that up with her later, Adam. Brother, thanks so much for doing this, man. We love having you on. Keep enjoying going to all those games. Keep us posted on that awesome stuff. Now get out of here.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Kyle Anthony's birthday, Teddy. Happy birthday to Kyle Anthony. Wonderful guy. I'm sure he will party hard tonight. Kyle, if you're listening to the show, happy birthday. Before your night begins, may I suggest leaving your phone behind? You understand what that means. So do many of the Wager Talk people. But anyway, leave your phone behind. Teddy, I'm watching an incredible show on Netflix I wanted to mention. I know you don't care about the stuff, but some of our listeners do enjoy my Netflix recommendations. The show is called Alpha Males. It's a sitcom. It's out of Spain. It is in Spanish, but I do watch the dubbed version. It is about 4 men in their mid to late 40s and how they are struggling with woke culture and how to speak and how to communicate to people around them. It's probably the funniest sitcom I've ever seen in my life. I mean, tears rolling down my face. It is so unbelievably funny. So I suggest to everyone, check that out. Also, Teddy, I asked George to put in the chat room, what is it like playing my college basketball? You want to know how loquacious he is? He literally just put a $. I'll take it. Theodore, let's go to a commercial break. Your big game breakdown. Carmine Bianco, I will have a daily presidential address. Dan, cue it up.
Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 58 on February 11, 2024. From your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $11.99 versus a regular price of $19.99 for a total savings of $800. This limited time super discount basically is 52 weeks at $23 per week, less than the price of one 4% play, coming out to only $3.29 per day. With the cost of a 30-day all-access priced at $2.99, it is almost like getting 8 30-day all-access passes at no additional cost. As an added bonus, your all-access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl, the more additional days you get for free.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's go to the NBA for Thursday night and talk about the Pacers and the Lakers. Just in the last 15 minutes or so, we've seen the money come for LA. Was -1, -1.5. Now we're looking at -2 for the Lake Show. Total 240.5. Tyrese Halliburton expected back for Indiana tonight. Truly an impact player for the Pacers. I don't care. The first game back after an extended absence, in the NBA, there's always an adjustment period, especially for a high usage rate guy like Halliburton. The team doesn't play well for a game or two. Recent examples: the Wizards got Bradley Beal back and they lost. The Hornets got LaMelo Ball back and they lost. The Clips got Kawhi back and they lost. I could go on and on and on. You get my point. When a guy's been out for a couple of games, not as big a deal. When a guy's been out for a month or two or three, big deal. I'll be betting against the Suns when Devin Booker comes back against Brooklyn. And we bet against the Pacers with Halliburton. Again, a high usage guy, major flow adjustment for Rick Carmile's squad. It's not like the Pacers are in good form. They're 1-10 in their last 11 ball games. And the Lakers are a tough defense for Indiana. As long as AD doesn't get into foul trouble. The Pacers like to drive into the paint. Davis stops that pretty effectively. Lakers, they're showing urgency. They're showing a will to win. Maybe they get a late game call or two. And, of course, the addition of Rao Hachimura is huge for LA. He scored in double figures 3 of his 4 games with the Lakers. He scored 30 in his last game with the Wizards. This is a guy who was kind of underachieved in his career. All of a sudden, he's being put in position to succeed. The Lakers are the better of these two teams right now. -2, money line, however you choose to bet it. Look for LA to get the W. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, El Presidente.
Teddy, I'm freaking hurting here. Oh, I hope I don't have a cold. I'm leaving on Saturday morning at 5 a.m. to head to Colorado, skiing Crested Butte for 7 days, and I'm a mess.
Yep. I see you with a tissue in your hand every time. So,
yeah,
all this vacation,
Brad.
You're on vacation in Florida, now you're going to Crested Butte, and you got to take care of your body. Take care of yourself.
Well, I know that, but just for the record, Teddy, none of these things are vacations. These things are life, just mine.
Okay.
You might call them a vacation. I just call them life. And, I was saying this to somebody recently. It's not easy to get to a position where you can go on vacation a lot. It is an expensive thing, and it takes a lot of guts to put yourself in that position. Frankly put, if you don't risk it all, you're never going to get to where you can go on vacation all the time. And I've risked it all 3 times in my life, Teddy. 3 different companies. I risked my life savings every single time. So I put my balls on the chopping block, and it worked, but it doesn't always work. I've had failures along the way, that's for sure. Carmine Bianco joining us. Carm, you have been side by side with me throughout it all, my successes and failures. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you. You're exhibiting life bankroll management, I guess. You're putting it all on the line. It doesn't always work out, but I'm glad it has for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, Carm, it's almost impossible to make a shit ton of money in this world without risking it all. I don't know how else you would do it, especially if you start with a very little. I got married when I was 29 years old. I had $12,000 to my name, so I had no head start. Anyway, Teddy doesn't want to hear this shit. Right, Teddy? You just want us to move on, eh?
Well, you don't want to hear my comments. I'll just leave it at that. I don't think you'd appreciate them over the air. So I'll zip the lip, and we'll talk some sports.
Okay, Carm, Premier League, Tottenham, plus 332, a draw at plus 315, Manchester City at minus 135. Let's start there. How are we betting this game?
This is an interesting one because I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and these two teams did play in the reverse fixture. This one, it was obviously in Manchester, and I had 3 or 5. I think it was 3 client plays out, all tied to this game. And for the first 40 minutes or so, it was scoreless. And then a couple of goals by Tottenham just before the half ended. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm sitting there at Circa playing some Paigal thinking, what an absolute disaster this is going to be. But I doubled down on the game. I thought Manchester were the right side. The game had gone, except for those 2 goals, the way I thought it would. 4 second half goals by Manchester. They win the game of 4-2. I don't see the same thing happening here. I think change of venue actually changes the way these games are played. Under bettors were probably happy with the way that game was going before they scored 5 goals in a matter of 20 minutes on both sides of the first and second half. But the it at Hotspur Stadium in London, it is a tough venue for City. Their last 5 trips there, won a Champions League game and 3 Premier League games. They have lost all 4 games and have been held off the score sheet in all 4 games. This total sits at 3, and it's an important game for both teams. Obviously, City are chasing Arsenal for top spot. Tottenham are chasing a top 4 spot, sitting in fifth right now behind Manchester United. I think this is going to be one of those cagey affairs, low scoring affairs. And I think the total set at 3 here. I just don't see it going over the total here. It did in that first game, but with the exception of a 20-minute span, 70 minutes of that game was played pretty much in midfield with not a lot of action. And I see the same thing happening here. So under 3, I think, is the right play here.
Under 3 in Tottenham Man City in the Premier League on Sunday. Another Sunday fixture. Take us to the biggest game in Italy this weekend, the Milan Derby. We have Inter Milan plus 100, the draw in the plus 260 range, AC Milan in the plus 275, plus 280 range. These two are seemingly going in opposite directions at the moment, but this derby has been known for surprises. Do we see another one on Sunday, Carm, or do we expect the favorite to take care of business?
Yeah, this is always a heated affair. The fans, I expect this to see the fans clashing in the stands in this one at San Siro. But it's an interesting one. Inter, these are, as you said, these are 2 teams going in opposite directions. Inter Milan started to string some wins together. They are second in the league behind Napoli, who are runaway leaders, and AC Milan, who were in second, have dropped down to fifth. These 2 teams just played in the Italian Super Cup, with Inter Milan winning that one 3-0. That happened last week, I believe. And I talked on Stoppage Time, which airs on WagerTalk TV every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. I talked 2 weeks ago about AC Milan, and there is something fundamentally wrong with this team. They're not playing well. The manager needs to do something. They're relying on a couple players, maybe change up his formation. Well, what does he do this week? Stefano Pioli, the manager of AC Milan, has his team switching from, they normally play a 4-2-3-1 formation, which took them to the Italian championship last year in winning the title. He has changed it in practice all week. They've been going with a 4-3-3 and a 3-4-3. Now, what does that mean? If you don't follow, it is more of a defensive setup. It's you clog up the midfield. You help out your defenders who are getting beat on a regular basis. And they've allowed, I think, 9 goals in their last 2 league games, both losses, 5-2 and 4-0, Lazio and Sassuolo. So his mind is set on making this a low-scoring affair, a slow affair, and Inter's fine with it. Inter Milan is perfectly happy with winning a 1-0 game at home. And again, people don't like unders, but the money spends the same way when you win. So under 2.5, even money on the under 2.5 here is the play.
Carmine Bianco, awesome, brother. What do you got? What do you promote? What do you got to promote?
Yeah, so a couple things. Obviously, 3 games up in soccer today, 3-1 yesterday with some France League One games. A 5% play loaded up for Saturday, and Missy, who is under the weather today, and I wish her well, get healthy soon. She put up a great deal on my page at WagerTalk, where you can get the rest of the European season, which ends in the middle of June. It takes you right through the Champions League final. That's every single soccer player released, as well as all the NHL plays are released right through the Stanley Cup finals. And you can get those for only $5.49. They're knocking $350 off of that. That would be regularly $8.98 or $8.99. So every single play you get on my page at WagerTalk.
Awesome stuff. Carmine Bianco, everyone. Teddy, your wife logged into the chat room under the name William Waller. I don't know why your wife would choose that name, but she writes, Teddy is a legend. I love his counter arguments. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Yes, show us your amusement, Teddy. How do you keep your face so damn still? Like, are you there?
Yeah, so that's poker table stuff, actually. You know,
Oh, you're right.
I should concentrate a lot I should concentrate on just being flat. Try to get a read off me.
Yeah, I get a read. You're miserable.
All right. What do I have the hand or not?
I don't know, dude. I'm the worst. I'm a great
Exactly.
poker player, and I can never
That's
get
the
reads
goal.
off of people. Okay. Well, anyway, Kara, thanks for logging in and telling us all that Teddy's a legend under the name William Waller. Awesome stuff.
Thank you, William.
Yeah, but it's true, Teddy. You are a legend. I mean, listen, there's good legends, there's bad legends, there's medium legends, but you have accomplished legendness in your life.
This is something I learned of being in Vegas, because when I came to Vegas, the first thing I wanted to do was meet all the legends, back in 98. And I made a point of meeting as many guys that have been doing this for the legends in the business. And I met them all, or many of them. The only thing it takes to becoming a legend in sports betting, survival.
Yeah.
You make it 20 years, you're a legend.
Yeah.
Lots of guys fall off. If you make it, if you're still standing 20 years later, you're officially a legend. And I'm at 25 now. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. You, Prez,
there
you're
you
getting
go.
there, Lawrence.
Yeah, dude. Slowly but surely. I'd rather be known as a legend businessman. I try my hardest with my picks. But I'm a businessman through and through. Started 3 companies, sold 2 of them. I invest in a bunch of businesses. I consult. So
this is getting boring. You want to do your 2-minute your presidential address?
I'm bored as well. Well said. Dan, cue it up, bro. All right, it's time for the daily presidential address. I'm Lawrence Presman, and I've got 3 NBA plays for you guys tonight. I just want to let you know I do have 4 college basketball plays and 1 NBA play up for my clients. The type of run I'm on is it's unbelievable. I'm at 93 units in total in both college basketball and NBA. The number 1 college basketball and NBA expert at WagerTalk, and on and on. You all know this already, so stop not buying and betting my plays. There's a double negative for you all. Okay, I like the Chicago Bulls tonight. Bounce back off of the loss to the Clippers, where they played well. DeMar didn't, but they played well right up to the end. They're -6. I like the Denver Nuggets to go over the total tonight. And I like the Milwaukee Bucks to beat the Clippers -4. I think it's a bad spot for the Clippers. So the Bulls -6 over in the Denver game, and the Milwaukee Bucks -4. Teddy, my brother, I am literally having a shawarma today in about 10 minutes. Why don't you take us home?
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. And there is a new Saturday edition of Wager Talk Today. When does that start, Lawrence? Do you know? He took his L. I don't know. I don't know if it starts this Saturday, but I know it starts soon. Yeah. All that being said, between now and tomorrow's show, enjoy the games and best of luck with all your wagers.
Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 58 on February 11, 2024. From your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $11.99 versus a regular price of $19.99 for a total savings of $800. This limited time super discount basically is 52 weeks at $23 per week, less than the price of one 4% play, coming out to only $3.29 per day. With the cost of a 30-day all-access priced at $2.99, it is almost like getting 8 30-day all-access passes at no additional cost. As an added bonus, your all-access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl, the more additional days you get for free.